To better understand what buyers value, it is important to know how most companies fall short. Many companies make mistakes, starting with the wrong questions, relying on assumptions, and not taking the time to listen. As a result, they often fail to connect the dots and understand what buyers are looking for. Fortunately, there are some things you can do to understand better what buyers value. 1. Start with the right questions. 2. Dig deeper and get out of your comfort zone. By taking these steps, you will better understand what buyers are looking for and how to meet their needs best. How most companies fall short. In most cases, companies don't understand what buyers value. As a result, they fall short of creating true customer value and, consequently, miss out on important growth opportunities. There are 4 main areas where companies fail to assess and understand what buyers value. 1. They don't spend enough time talking to customers and understanding their needs and wants. 2. They rely too much on surveys and other data that don't give them an accurate picture of customer sentiment. 3. They don't consider the different stages of the buyer's journey when trying to understand what they need and want. 4. They don't properly assess customers' willingness to pay for the company's products or services. If companies want to understand what buyers value properly, they need to invest more time in talking to them directly and getting a better sense of their specific needs and wants. In addition, they need to be careful not to over-rely on data that may not give them an accurate picture of customer sentiment. Finally, they need to remember the different stages of the buyer's journey when trying to understand what they need or want from a purchase. Not starting with the right questions. They ask broad, general questions that don't get to the heart of what buyers care about. Companies need to begin by asking more specific, probing questions to understand what buyers value. They need to drill down into the details of what buyers want and why they want it. Only then can companies develop a deep understanding of what drives buyer behavior. Asking the right questions is just the first step, though. Companies also need to listen carefully to the answers they get. Buyers will often reveal more than they even realize themselves. It's up to companies to interpret what buyers are saying and turn it into actionable insights. Ultimately, understanding what buyers value is essential for any company that wants to succeed. By starting with the right questions and listening carefully to the answers, companies can gain valuable insights that will help them drive sales and growth. Companies often rely on assumptions when understanding what their buyers value. This can be a dangerous strategy, as it can lead to companies making decisions that are not aligned with reality. Instead of making assumptions, companies should take the time to gather data and feedback from their buyers. This will give them a better understanding of what their buyers want and need. Companies' common assumption is that all of their buyers are the same. This is rarely the case, as buyers often have different needs and want. Companies need to segment their buyers and tailor their offerings accordingly. Another assumption that companies sometimes make is that price is the most important factor for buyers. While price is certainly important, buyers often do not consider it the only factor. Other factors, such as quality, customer service, and brand reputation, can also be very important to buyers. As you can see, several dangers are associated with making assumptions about what buyers value. Companies should avoid making assumptions and instead focus on gathering data and feedback from their buyers. This will help them better understand what their buyers want and need and ultimately make more informed decisions about their business. To understand what buyers value, most companies need to take the time to listen. This means being attentive to not just what they say, but also how they say it and the context in which they say it. It's important to remember that people often say one thing but mean something else entirely. For example, a customer might say they want a cheap and cheerful product. On the surface, this seems like a pretty straightforward request. However, if you probe a little deeper, you might find that what they mean is that they want something that is good quality but won't break the bank. Similarly, a customer might say they want a product that is innovative. Again, this is a pretty vague request. But if you ask them what they mean by innovative, you might find they are looking for something new and different from anything else on the market. The bottom line is that companies need to take the time to listen to their customers if they want to understand what they value. This means going beyond the surface and taking the time to ask follow-up questions. Only then will you be able to offer them products and services they truly appreciate. Most companies have a myopic understanding of what their customers want and value. They see each customer as an isolated individual with unique wants and needs. This is the wrong way to look at things. What buyers want is not just a product or service that meets their needs, but a complete solution to their problem. And they don't want to have to put all the pieces together themselves, they want you to do it for them. The best way to understand what buyers value is to think of them as a puzzle. Each customer has a different puzzle made up of other pieces. Your job is to figure out what pieces they need and put them all together for them. This means understanding what they need and how those needs fit together. It's not enough to provide a product or service that meets their needs, you also need to make sure that it fits in with the rest of their puzzle. Otherwise, you're just another piece they have to put themselves. Most companies fail to connect the dots with their customers. They see each customer as an isolated individual with unique wants and needs. But buyers really want a complete solution to their problem, one that fits all the different pieces of their puzzle. If you can provide that, you'll be well on your way to understanding what buyers value. Many companies make the mistake of assuming they know what their customers want and value. But the reality is that customer needs and wants are constantly changing, and what they valued yesterday may not be what they value today. That's why it's so important for companies to continually seek out feedback from their customers to understand better what they want and need. There are a few key ways to go about this. Point 1. Don't rely on customer surveys alone. While surveys can be helpful, they often only give you a snapshot of what customers might think at a given moment. Instead, try to interact regularly with your customers through social media, phone calls, or in-person meetings. This will give you a complete picture of their thoughts, feelings, and needs. 2. Pay attention to changes in customer behavior. If you see a sudden drop in sales or engagement, that could signify that something has changed in how your customers view your product or service. Try to reach out to them directly to find out what's happening. 3. Listen to your employees. They likely have a lot of contact with customers and can provide valuable insights into their thoughts and feelings. Encourage open communication between employees and management so everyone knows of any changes or concerns customers may have. By taking these steps, you can ensure that you're always staying attuned to what your customers want and need. Only then can you ensure you're providing them with the best possible experience. Most companies fail to understand what buyers value. Why is this? One of the biggest reasons is that they don't start with the right questions. What are the right questions? They're quite simple. Who are your target buyers? What does each buyer segment value? How do those values differ from one another? Unfortunately, too many companies make the mistake of starting with questions like, what do we offer? What features do our products have? While these questions may be important, they're not the right place to start. To understand what buyers value, you have to start by understanding who your target buyers are and what they value. Only then can you determine how your products or services fit into that equation. Many companies make the mistake of thinking that they understand what their buyers want and value when in reality, they only have a surface-level understanding. You must dig deeper to understand what your buyers truly want and value. Many companies believe they know their buyers because they've researched the market. They've analyzed demographic data, analyzed purchasing trends, and talked to customers. While all of this is important, it only gives you a superficial understanding of what your buyers want and value. To understand your buyers, you need to go beyond market research and get to know them personally. What motivates them? What are their hopes, dreams, and fears? What do they like and dislike? The more you know about your buyers, the better you'll be able to serve them. One way to get to know your buyers better is to create buyer personas. Buyer personas are fictional representations of your ideal customers based on real data and research. By creating buyer personas, you can better understand your target market and what they're looking for. To succeed in today's competitive marketplace, you need to understand your buyers and what they value deeply. Market research is a good start, but it's not enough. You need to dig deeper and get to know your buyers if you want to create products and services that they'll love. Companies need to get out of their comfort zones to understand better what buyers value and look closely at their customers. This means engaging with them directly, listening to their feedback, and observing their behavior. Only then can companies hope to identify the truly important factors to buyers.